Some stuff we'd like. I mean, we would, but it's just not practical. And that's something I want to talk about today. So today I want to go over a toy topic, specifically one that we all deal with. We want it. It would be great to have it, but it's just too much money. There are things that escape our price range, and that's different for all of us. What we're willing to pay, what we'll justify on certain things, and what we simply will not justify on other things. I want to go over a couple of items that I would absolutely love to add to the collection, but they have exceeded what I am willing to do. And then, of course, I would like to hear from anybody that wants to hit the comment section or anything like that, some of the items that you simply feel are out of your price range at this point in time. So here's one that's super simple and one that I've dealt with for a while. This right here, Wonder Woman. Specifically, the Wonder Woman that was released for the DC Multiverse, the McFarlane toys, this Wonder Woman right here. And as you can see, she skyrocketed. She came out like this, that's fine. I could do that. This, that's fine. I could do that. This, that's fine. I could do that. None of this really acts as a stopping point. That's $30. I could do that if I so wanted. This gold one, it's basically nothing. It's kind of cool. It's like a Wonder Woman statue if I was trying to set up a very specific kind of shot. Wonder Woman from the Bat Metal, sure, it's fine. It's easy. We're expecting things like this, but that Wonder Woman blew up in a way that puts her in between $100 and $170 on the regular. On the regular. Like, there's $100 at AliExpress. There's $124, basically $125 right there. There's $169 right here on Toy Wiz. And then going down when we find her in other places, like I didn't go crazy and type in, but as you can see, like as I'm scrolling down, most of these Wonder Woman are easily accessible. Like, she's 35. She's different and she's cool and like she would be kind of neat, and right there she is at 60, but we just found her at a different place right there. And I'm not saying every single place is necessarily a credible shop and you should just spend your money, but what I'm saying is that just scrolling down and looking at the prices, it's easy to see that the Wonder Woman that escaped our grasp, most of us collectors anyway, is right here. And this is why. I don't know about you, but I personally cannot justify that price tag. Here's one for you that we've talked about before. I've talked about the Ghostbusters and a grail that I have. And specifically, I would love to have the Firehouse. Like, it would be really cool to have the Firehouse. It's something that I did not have. A buddy of mine did have it. Here it is. And you have to be careful when you look up something like this. I very blatantly just put in Kenner, Ghostbusters, Firehouse. Here's the real Ghostbusters Firehouse. We're looking at $120 basically. That's not the worst price I've ever seen. Here, it's $20, but that's not the Firehouse. That's actually a Christmas ornament. So you definitely need to read what you're looking at. And you have to know exactly what the condition is of the thing that you're about to buy. Like that right there. How complete is it? Well, we would definitely have to read. And I'm noticing we are not seeing pictures of the Firehouse, only pictures of the box. That makes me a little skeptical as to what's going on inside of that. Here, we're looking at $250. And it looks like it's got some Ghostbusters with it and whatnot. And it's selling it as a pack. It's the house. It looks complete as much as I could tell. Maybe the fire pole is missing the a part. That's very possible. Here's one at $315. It looks like that's also where they're selling their stuff with it. It's just, Looks, you can get the doors. Those are replacements, because a lot of it, like, okay, like this is 215. It's very blatantly, it's missing the door, you can tell, and it's got a couple of pieces that are like damaged where he's basically showing it off, and he's like, it's incomplete. Incomplete $215, and you would have to go here and you would have to buy these doors to replace on there. And then going further than that, there's one right here for $190. Says it'll come with 2 Ecto 1 vehicles. I don't know why you would need that. All I would be looking for is the house. There's 150. Firehouse and car. From what I'm looking at, it is not complete. It is very much the shell of the firehouse. There's one right there, $89. And there's all kinds of replacement parts. There's people that are literally just making that money off the replacement parts because they know that things like these, the firehouse rails and whatnot, they did not survive the test of time. So you would have to go out of your way in a lot of cases where you buy one and then you kind of have to piece it together. That's rough. That's kind of rough. And the firehouse is one of those things that I would very much love to have. But realistically, I even came across one that was complete in a store. I seen it in person, and it was in immaculate condition. It really was. And it was $325. There's no way. Like, I would absolutely love to, but there's just no way. I will say that they have re-released the entire original wave of Kenner Ghostbusters. They have released the I'm Scared Kenner Ghostbusters, the one that make the scared faces. They have released a set of ghosts so far. They have released the Ecto 1. I believe they released the helicopter. They released a bunch of the special bigger ghosts and whatnot. With all of this back on the market, you have to wonder, if I just bide my time, will they re-release the Firehouse at $80 or like $120? And we could just get it complete. Will it be an original? No. Will it basically be just as good? I would argue yes. So far, I bought the car and the Ghostbusters, and you would be hard-pressed, unless you were hardcore, to know the difference between whether mine are the ones from my childhood, aside from the fact that they don't necessarily look played with, or whether or not they are new. You would be hard-pressed to prove one way or another. They did a very good job with these reproductions. That being said, if they did the Firehouse, I'm going to be honest with you, if they redid the Firehouse, I would probably buy 3 of them. And I think I really would. Because I have this idea. One, I'd like to put the buildings close to one another so I can get some shots of like Spider-Man swinging through the city and get some rooftop stuff for like the Ninja Turtles and stuff like that. That would be cool. And buildings would help me do that. 2, the other reason I would like to buy multiple, I'm thinking 3 of them, is I want the Ghostbusters place. And then I want to take and I want to redo the inside of 2 of them and make a Daily Planet as well as a Daily Bugle. I would love to do that. Those are projects that I would love to undertake, but I would never undertake a custom project like that when the Ghostbusters house can cost upward of $300 to get one. This is unaffordable to me. It has exceeded the level that I am willing or able to do. Here's one from your childhood, the Technodrome. This is another one of those toys that you try to go out of your way to get, and it's rough. It could be very rough to try to get it. Now, first off, we'll see stuff like this. That is not the original. And there is a problem with the remaster one. One, the eye isn't right. The eye falls off very easily and doesn't like stick in the way that it's supposed to stick in. I've seen a couple of reviews where people have got this, and the difference in size does make a difference. So these are not as big as they used to be, which is a problem because that subtraction of about 1.5 to 2 inches around the entirety of the diameter means that your turtles no longer work with this. And it's not just like you could kind of get the newer turtles that can kind of move a little bit better to work with it, but for the most part, This is really just a thing that you buy, close up, set on the shelf in the background, and there it is, and you don't mess with it. Now, if you want the original with the size, and you have to be careful as to which one you're getting, because you could very easily get screwed trying to buy one of these. Somebody could market this as the 1990s Technodrome, and it could be a lie. So you need to really watch your pictures and everything like that, because some people would be hard-pressed to tell the difference. Now, this one seems very much original as far as I am telling right here. And for that, you're going to pay $275. Or you can go over here. There's an Etsy seller right here that wants $370, basically. Ouch. That's a lot. There's $300 right here. There's $200 here, $300 here. 83, I'm going to guess that's the new one. In fact, looking, when they don't have actual pictures, that's a selling point for me. This guy very much took pictures. It looks like pictures. This guy very much set up a thing and he took pictures. It's pictures. This eBay seller right here is using the pictures that were on things like Big Bad and Entertainment Earth and things of that nature, and it is not an original. Now, This guy says classic Technodrome playset. That's misleading. I understand what they're saying, but I feel like it's misleading, and somebody's going to buy this thinking that they're getting one thing, and they're not. There's 150. But that very blatantly tells you 2024 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. This is not an original, and that's fine because it doesn't feel like a lie. The Technodrome is one of those things that if you missed out on it or you did not keep yours, you could pay crazy money trying to put this thing into your collection. For the sake of, let's go to the last item that I really wish, not that there aren't many items, and not that I understand that we're playing around with big items, but let's go to one of the main things that I wish I had. We're talking an absolute grail piece. So here's one that's tough. Real tough. Classics. Classics Castle Grayskull. I would love to have a Classics Castle Grayskull. It is an absolute dream of mine to put this sucker in my collection. Here's one at Macari, right there. We're looking at $680. I expect all of these to be used. I'm not crying about that, but that's a lot. That's a lot, $680. Now here's one right here, $263. That's not that bad, if I'm being perfectly honest. This is one that maybe I would honestly consider. Now, what kind of condition is it in? Because, let's be honest about this here, they're selling for upward of $910. I've seen them in box for $1,500. That's $680. Why is this one $263? I don't know. I will know. I just loaded it up. I'm very curious. Here's one, $2,000. Like $2,000. Ouch. Now, it's not that I don't understand. I mean, you're talking about one of the coolest playsets literally ever made in a modern scale. You're going to pay that money. It's going to cost that money. Will we ever see this again? Will Masterverse get a Castle Grayskull? I don't know. It's looking less and less likely. To me, all these hey, we're going to do a Fright Zone. Hey, we're going to do a Snake's Lair. Hey, we're going to do Eternia. I understand. It's cool. But, man, at the same time, this is where it's at, man. This should be where it's at. 100%, without a doubt, if you're going to sell a Castle Grayskull, if you're going to make one, if you're going to do one of these, if you're going to do a HasLab or whatever, you know what I'm talking about, Mattel Creations, whatever, crowdfund. We need a Castle Grayskull for the Masterverse. Like, badly. Like, really, really, really badly. This is something that I see all the time. And I can't help it. You want to talk about FOMO? This is one of the biggest FOMOs I have ever experienced. Not one that I act on, not one that I ever pull the trigger on, but like, I gotta be honest with you. If there's one thing I see all the time in other people's collections that make me go, oh man, that's for me. But then I look at the prices and it has exceeded my price range. This is the absolute king of exceeding my price range. That's just a couple of items. A couple of items that have exceeded my price range, that have put me in a spot where it's just not feasible. These are things that would be really cool, but things that have absolutely escaped the possibility for me. And I know this is true for a lot of collectors. There are certain things that you see out there, certain things that you would love to have, but they have exceeded your price range. And you know what? I'm sure there are many others, if I'm being very, very honest. And I'm sure there are figures. I just went with some of the absolute standouts, like the big pieces, just to really kind of sell my point. But like, I can easily find things like that Wonder Woman that are way, way too out of my price range. Oh, you know what? Just for the sake of one more. Here's one I didn't even know was a thing until just a couple days ago. I went to a random store and I saw one. And I was like, wait, that's a thing? That is Savage Leonardo. Like Leonardo as Conan the Barbarian. A swords and sorcery Leonardo. He's right there. That's him. That's what he basically is. That's completely awesome. That is a Ninja Turtle thing from my childhood that I never knew was a thing, that would have absolutely been the best thing ever. And I think it must have been awfully rare, because easily, like, here's one right here. It's just the figure. It's $55. It doesn't come with any of his stuff. Here's one still in the package. It's $315. I saw one without the original packaging, but it had all of the stuff, and it was in just like a plastic, thing, like a cover, and that was $300. And as you scroll down, because that's Savage Leonardo, right? Savage Leo figure. If you type that in and you go looking for it, so far I found one. There's the old samurai one. That's cool, but it's not what we're looking for. Yeah, it's pretty much one of those toys that you got to be lucky enough to find it at like a convention, and you got to be lucky enough to know that it even exists, and then maybe you have a chance at getting it. And that's still a slim chance, realistically. And there's a ton of figures like this if you want to get into just figures. And I figured it would be important for me to kind of showcase that it wasn't just big items that exceed that realm of we can afford. There's figures. There's just simple figures that exceed that realm of we can afford. And it doesn't even have to be that. It can be that you want to just get a He-Man. You just want to get a Skeletor. You want to collect in the vintage line. You're looking at $80 drop minimum sometimes to get a complete He-Man. And I'm not talking about in-box or anything like that. I'm talking an old vintage He-Man with his shield, with his axe, with his sword, just standing there, decent enough paint job. You're looking at $80 minimum. On the regular, I see them at conventions all the time. You're looking at sometimes $90-something for Skeletor. And sometimes they're not even complete, and they're still going to cost you about $100. And you want to talk about them if you find one in the packaging? Ouch. Collecting can be an absolute pitfall. Oh, and by the way, I did go and I looked because I couldn't help it. At under $300 for a Classics Castle Grayskull, I said, I'm going to look at that. I may be making a different video altogether. Well, I looked at it. I would have to send a message to that person and ask for other pictures. It's just pictures of the box, and it says comes with everything you would need to do classic scenes from Masters of the Universe. Absolute steal, fantastic playset. Near complete. What does that mean? What is near complete? I don't know. Like, I have no idea at all what that means. And the fact that there's no indicator as to what part is missing, that's a problem. That's an absolute no. And I feel like it's got to be missing something pretty important if the other sets that are selling right next to your posting are in the $700 range and $1,000 plus, and then you're down here asking $238. What are you missing? How much are you missing? What is near? What is near complete? That's up for debate, because he could basically the point is to sell your item, and the problem is that sometimes when people want to sell stuff like this, they become salesmen, and sometimes when they become salesmen, they're very quick to be like, it's basically brand new. Is it? By what standard? That's tough. But anyways, I just wanted to talk about some items exceed our price range. It is a regular thing in this hobby. Sometimes you are priced out of your grail, priced out of your favorite thing, or whatever you want to call it. And hey, I'm curious. Like, legit. What are some other items that have reached a price point where you would love to have it, but you're just not willing to drop that money? Later on.
I have spoken. Take what you will from it.